Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Hello, hi. My name is Shoaib Khan and welcome to Maxafter.com's another exciting tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be creating this exciting kitchen scene in 3ds Max with the help of render engine Mental Ray plus some other interesting lights like skylight and portal lights. Before starting the tutorial, I've got another tutorial regarding Mental Ray. So if you haven't done that, you can also do that one. If you go to my website, go to tutorials, and in tutorials I've got this one, Mental Ray. This is a tutorial I did like in 2008. So this tutorial has got some information as well. So if you like, you can do this tutorial as well. Okay, let's start the tutorial. So I've got this 3ds Max 2012, and we have got this scene here, and we haven't got any materials yet applied to it. So if you render it, if you go to render setup, and let me just render a small scene. So this is how it looks at the moment. No lights, no texture and mapping. We'll be doing the texture and mapping plus lights and rendering. So let's go and first start with texture and mapping. We need to change, this scene is scanline rendering, so we need to change this to Mental Ray. So for that we'll go to render setup, and here scroll down and go to assign renderer, and in production click this one, and here you've got Mental Ray renderer, and select it and click OK. Now the Mental Ray is selected. So if you render, this is how it looks. As you can see, it's rendering in buckets and there's nothing in here, right? So we'll come back to this panel. Let's go and first start applying the materials. Okay, for materials we go to this material editor, click this button here and bring up the material editor, and here of course we'll be applying, the first one is applied to the whole scene. Now let's go and apply first material to the tabletop. Select the tabletop. As you can see, this whole thing is, let me just maximize this scene, and this is a camera view, so we can click this and press P on your keyboard, or go here and select the perspective, so that press Alt, or you can change it like that, or press Alt and with the middle mouse button you can change the scene. Now let's go and select this one, go to group, open as this whole is group. So I select this one, it says tabletop. We go and select the material editor, and we select the second one and name it tabletop, and just go and apply. So then tabletop is applied, nothing in here. So we go to standard. Now in this 2012, they have 3ds Max, they have made it really easy for us to do the texture and mapping. Now you've got standard and you've got Mental Ray, right? And if you come down, you've got Autodesk material library, and here all the materials are pre-made for us, so it's very easy. Go and just apply. For example, the tabletop is, if I go to plastic and I apply PVC white, right? PVC white, click it and press OK, and this is applied. Let's do a small render and see how it looks. So as you can see, it's already shaping up with all the reflections and everything, right? So first material applied. Now let's go and select the other parts, which is the cupboards, right? Again we go here, and again we go to standard and vinyl, right? And this is of course Let's bring them right cupboards. And I'm going to change the color to red. And if you apply it, you can see it's applying. And just go and just apply it. Right, so this whole thing is applied. And let me just render and see how it looks. So as you can see, the cupboards, it's applied to the cupboards as well. Right? Very simple. Everything is pre-made. If you want to make it a bit darker, you can make it darker. You can put any color. And these are some other settings here. This is self-illumination, and here is ambient occlusion. You can turn it on. And round corners. This round corners, I've explained it in my other tutorial that I showed you in the beginning. You can make this one 0.25 or 0.5. This basically gives the edges, a rounded, beveled kind of shade, right? It's going to apply as ceramics to these cups here. Go to this one and select right ceramics. So it's very simple. Go to standard, and here we go and we select ceramics and porcelain. Let me say like probably gold sand, right? And high gloss. I don't want it to be high gloss. I want it to be matte. Or matte, yeah. Right. So if you've got porcelain applied, let me just select these. Press Control and on your keyboard and just select the middle mouse button and move it, and Alt and move like that. Or if you can't, you can just do it one by one. Just apply here and then just select these ones with Alt, right? Or the other thing is you can do is go to this tool here, select by name, and you've got a teapot, these teapots. You can select all of them and then apply, right? So this applied. Now go to the next one and let me just apply it to the handles. So all these handles are selected, and I want handles here. So they are of course metal, and then we'll select the other ones. So we got handles here. Select all of them, and right, and then just apply handles. Okay, go to standard, and here again we go to metal, this one. So I've got these steel here. Go to steel, and let me just apply. Let me just go and apply semi-polished. Right, so just apply. If you double click here, you'll see the bigger version. This is how it's going to look. Right. Now go to the next one again, and here right tab, and apply everything to the tab now. Select the tab here. All of it is selected. Apply. Go to standard again, and metal. Let me just apply stainless steel. And how about this one? So I'm gonna apply. So this is proper steel, right? And now I'm just go and apply to the. Okay, these are also windows in metal, so we'll apply the railing. This one handles one. Go here and just name it wall. Go to standard, and we've got walls here as well. So all the materials are already made for us. So how easy it is, Wall paint, glossy. You want glossy or matte? Go for matte, and probably white or beige. And this is the wall. We apply it to wall, and here's some part of wall as well, right? If you bring it down, so it's all applied. And floor. Let's go and make a floor. So I hope you guys are following, very easy. So go to standard again and go to, of course, floors. And just close this one. This is flooring, carpet, stone, tile, vinyl, wood. So you go to wood and you can apply, beech plank. Apply. If you want to see the material applied, you can click this one, show shaded material. Right now you can't see it, but probably this floor wood plank probably is bigger in size, so we go and apply a UVW which is already applied. Let me just turn down the size and see if we can see it. Yes, see, it's coming up. So 0.005, 0.005, make it further small, like 1, right? So we've got our floor applied, and as you can see, this is meters. If you go to customize and unit setups, if yours is generic, right? So let's go and apply the metal to the oven. Let me just apply this tab one, and select this one. Let's make a standard black color and supply to the LCD. Right, so go to the other one, select this one as well. Oops, Control Z. Select the sides and can apply this one and this one. It's kind of let's say LCD. Right, now go back and we apply to the table wood. Right, so for that we go to standard again and very easy. Go to probably woods. Yeah, panels, not panel. Apply some dark color. This one mahogany, solid stained, dark, no gloss. Right, you can apply the other ones if you like. I'm just gonna apply this one. Right, and I'm gonna change the color, make it a bit darker. Right, you select. You've got already applied the UVW map, and it's fixed. And if you go and render and see how it looks. Right, so it's shaping up. Now let's apply the rest of the the glass here, and I'm just going to select the oven glass. Go here and standard, and we of course go to glass. Here it is. Let me just apply a darker one. Just probably this one. Now you can try the different, select this one and apply. So let's call this glass. So almost all the materials applied. What you can do is you can play around with these materials, and apply the other ones if you like. If you don't like, red color, don't change the colors. Let me just make it a bit darker. It's still a bit red. Right, so most of the materials applied. Now we go and apply the lights. Right, for lights, let's go to the system, and here we've got daylight system. It's an amazing tool. Right, it says you're creating daylight system, you say yes to it, right, and then we can just create, just leave it here somewhere. And now if you go here, change the sunlight to MR sun, change the skylight to MR skylight, right? Now the amazing thing about this is just go to setup and you just tell it to get your location, and wherever you are, for example you're in San Francisco, you click OK, or San Diego, wherever, it will give you the sunlight, according to your city or country, right? And then at times it also gives you like the timings, right, wherever it is, so it changes, and the date as well. So you can play around with this, it gives just amazing results. I'll go and select manual, and I'll just bring it here somewhere, outside the window, probably here somewhere, right, and then just render and see how it looks. Right, now you can see the sunlight coming in from the window, right, but we need to apply some more lights. We need to apply portal lights. We go to lights and MI Sky Portal, photometric MI Sky Portal. Sky Portal object provides an efficient method of gathering skylighting in interior scenes without requiring high final gather or global illumination settings that will result in excessively long render times. This portal actually acts like an area light that derives its brightness and coloring from the environment, right? So also, for MR Sky Portal to work correctly, the scene must contain a skylight component, this one. So this can be IES skylight or probably MR skylight or skylight. So these all lights have to be there, in order for these lights to work correctly. So now we go and apply the skylight to the windows. Let's say these are the windows that you can see on the side. I'm gonna just apply one here exactly to the size of the window. Right click and come out of it. If you go here, you see that, and bring it here somewhere, right, multiplier, and from outdoors leave the rest as it is. Now what we'll do is just go to edit, clone, and instance, and bring it to the next window, and again edit, clone, instance, bring it to the next window here. Right, the lights are now applied. Now what we'll do is first we go to render and we go to exposure control. Here is changed to MR photographic exposure control, right? And here we select a preset, and this is physically based lighting, indoor light, right? We go to environment, and here we will go and select MR physical sky. Render small scene, and you can see a bit of difference here. We go to skylight, Right, so when we select the light here, this one, the skylight, we need to change this one as well to MR skylight. And now, and let's move this light a little bit higher, and probably here somewhere, So now let's go and see how it looks. Right, so now you can see the difference, when we change this to MR Sky and Sun. It's already shaping up, it looks nice. So we need to do a few more changes to it. We go to render and exposure control, and here we just again change this to indoor light system, right? Sorry, indoor daylight, and make this it's a bit bright, so let's render it here smaller preview and see how it looks. So as you can see, if you make it like 10, the light here increases, so we keep it like 13, right? So this part is done. We go to render setup, and here we need to do a few changes. Enable final gather, we just turn it on. It's right now in draft. Let's go and make it low. So if you go to higher, it gets better and better. High, we keep it low at the moment. And then we go to global illumination, turn it on, leave it as it is, And this panel is, I've explained it in detail in my previous tutorial of mental red, which I showed you in the beginning. You can go and check that out. So now we've got this turned on, and we're going to go to renderer, and here let's change this to 1 and 16. This is the samples per pixels. And box, I always use Mitchell. In the end I'll use that for final render. Now let's go and render. It'll take some time for this render. So now you can see this render, how cool it looks. The settings are still very low, but still it looks so cool. Right now, if you turn up the settings, now you can imagine how nice it would look. Right, so that was almost done. So why did I just open my previous file, where I spent more time, and just wanted to show you a few things here before we end up. So as you can see, the skylight, the daylight system works with these three lights, the portal lights, and they all work together. And I just showed you how it works. The important thing was, if you go to render exposure control, this has to be MF photography exposure control, and the preset, you can select a preset from here, daylight, night, or whatever, and then you change these settings here and just leave the rest as it is. Or you can play around with this panel here, and then in the end you go to render setup and indirect illumination, just basic, turn it on and make it high or low according to your settings. Leave the rest as it is, and go to enable global illumination and leave the rest as it is, and just render, and go to renderer, and here I change it to Mitchell, and I sometimes change it to 4 and 64 because it gives the best result. And the picture that I showed you in the beginning was very high settings like this. It takes a lot of time, hours and hours to render. So medium is good, it takes like 10-15 minutes to render. So this file is there, you can just open it up and see the materials that I've applied, and you can do the research on this, and change the lights and maps as well, so that you can have an idea how they work. Right, so I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Once again, my name is Shoaib Khan from Maxafter.com. Assalamu alaikum, and goodbye, and peace be on all of you.